Hello. Tonight we will be telling nighttime stories. Are you ready to hear some stories about the nighttime? The nighttime is the right time. The nighttime is the right time. Just kidding. Hey, vamos a ver. The binary of environmental issues. So when I was in college studying natural resource management, my professor, who calls himself a botany bias, was very brilliant and very inspiring, and just will forever kind of affect me because I just thought he was cool as hell. The nighttime is the right time to yawn. But anyway, he was an activist in environmental issues. He would go to, when there was a discussion where people would get together and argue environmental issues, he would go to those. He's very an activist, And he said he noticed over the years, which is many years, he's an older guy, he's noticed that in environmental issues it so often boils down to the two types of people you run into. There's people that own the owners of things. They own the corporation, they own the property, they own the machinery, they own things. And then tree huggers, it's typically the tree huggers versus the owners of whatever, So like maybe you're saying pollution, these people need to stop putting so much smoke, blah blah blah, out their things, So the owners of the factories that's polluting, like the tree huggers are saying, have stricter tests on their emissions, and stuff like that, and so the tree huggers in reality are asking the people that own the businesses to invest in a better system, which costs them money, and it doesn't always make them money. Okay, so that's like the bigger picture, so like it's like Trump wanted to start doing away with our national forests, because to him it's a bunch of trees, that kind of like on The Great Outdoors, when John Candy says, "What do you see?" to Dan Aykroyd's character, and Dan Aykroyd says, "I see a mountain of trees that can be cut down and turned into paper," and John Candy's character was seeing a great place to go camping, So like Trump was like, all the national forests, we can be logging. There's all these resources we can be making money and using. Instead, we're letting the tree huggers call these places natural forests. Because Trump is the owner of the land. Like the government allows national forests, but they could just simply not allow it and find some way to not do that if they wanted to. It's always rich people that own something, and tree huggers that are calling for a better way, Nowadays we see with global warming, it's like scientists, which need money to do anything they do, versus, the masses of people that own the vote or own, things like that, It's always... so stuff like that. So really, even when it boils down to an individual, like with global warming socially, we see like the people that don't believe in global warming, they've all got money invested somehow. Like when you get to know the real reason they don't believe in global warming, it's always because they're big capitalists, and they're investing money, and like they own all these things and have made all these investments, and it's never, you'll never meet a tree hugger whose highest priority is the environment and he has vision of the bigger picture say they don't believe in global warming. It's always someone that's more like a businessman or a businesswoman, or something like that. So whether it's like up high with like the owner of the corporation and the tree hugger, or down to just the individual, I believe in global warming. I don't. Or no matter where you're looking at it, kind of like the breakdown into a binary is apathy versus empathy. Egocentrism versus ecocentrism. Egocentrism separates for selfish, and ecocentrism, eco meaning house, meaning the bigger picture, so it's like an apathy. Like Jane Goodall, that's what she says too. She says that the environmental issues break down to the enemy is really just apathy, And apathy, the opposite of apathy is empathy. The opposite of empathy is apathy, One can self-reflect, can look at the bigger picture, can face responsibility of themselves, can come up with a plan. Apathy is delusional, doesn't even care, and is engrossed in self, So that's the binary of environmental issues. So to fix environmental issues, obviously we need to get people away from the apathy and bring them over into the empathy, And if you'd seen my other video called "The Binary of Social Issues," it broke down to the same thing. So whether it's environmental issues or social issues, the binary of the argument is always apathy versus empathy, egocentrism versus ecocentrism. So really ego is the disease that's killing us. 666, 666 is the number of egocentrism. It's narcissism. 6 being the number of the self in the Sephiroth.